Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we're checking out is the Chef Knives to Go Culinary School set. As the name implies, it is a entry-level set kind of oriented around people maybe going into culinary school or starting their first professional job in the culinary industry. So what we have are three good quality knives in versatile basic sizes. We've got, these are all from the Tojiro MV or Molybdenum Vanadium steel series. And the great thing about these is the steel is a higher quality than what you're going to get in the standard kind of cheapo house knives with the white handles, if you know what I mean. So you'll find it easier to sharpen. It'll hold a little bit better edge, and it's just a little bit nicer all-around steel to work with. So we've got the 120 millimeter petty, which is a kind of a smaller utility knife, and it could double for some in-hand tasks. It's not too tall, so you might get away with that. If you do a lot of dedicated in-hand type paring duties, you might want a dedicated paring knife, but this might span the gap at least until you get a feel for what you're going to be doing. You've got a 150 millimeter Japanese boning knife, which has a curved right side. This is the right side as you hold the blade, and a flat left side. This one is oriented around a right-hander, and we've got a pretty detail-oriented tip here to get through joints in poultry. This is really oriented around poultry, this type of knife, but you can also use it for general boning work. Light touching on the bones. This is not for going through bones, but it'll get a lot of work done for you. And then we also have a 210 millimeter, about 8 1/4 inch Japanese chef's knife or gyuto, and this has a good versatile profile. It's got a reasonably thin tip. Performance is quite good. Again, it's pretty easy to sharpen. It'll have pretty reasonably good edge retention, especially compared to some of the cheapo house knives. So definite step up. And again, it's just a good quality kind of all-around performer. You've got matching hard plastic sleeves that the knives will go in when you want to put them in your knife bag or in a drawer or out sitting out when you want to keep them a little protected. And you've also got the Chef Knives to Go black ceramic honing rod, and this has a fairly aggressive quality to it, so it'll put a pretty aggressive, nice to the edge on a blade pretty quickly. It's not meant for full-on sharpening, but it's meant for touch-ups, and it does a surprisingly good job. And again, it's not a super refined edge, but it'll put a nice toothy edge that'll let you really get a lot of work done. It's great for quick touch-ups in between full-on sharpenings. I'm going to insert a video here that covers some of the proper ways to use this honing rod. Okay, we're shooting this as part of introduction product review of the one of the Chef Knives to Go introductory packages for like culinary students and professionals. And so one of the kits is going to come with this Tojiro DP 210 Gyuto and also the Chef Knives to Go black ceramic honing rod. And one of the things you want to do to utilize this rod properly is use light pressure. This is a fairly aggressive rod, so it will remove steel fast. You've also got a relatively small contact patch where the blade edge meets that rod. So you don't want to smack them like you see on TV, people whack, 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 going super fast and smacking the edge of that. You will probably chip the edge of something like the Tojiro DP. It's harder steel than you would get with like a European chef's knife or one of the cheap house knives. So the steel's harder, it's thinner, it does not take to abuse like that. So I'm not going to use this particular one, but this is the knife that is going to come with your kit. This is out of our kitchen drawer. I just recently resharpened it and worked on the tip a little bit, and it's got a higher level of polish than this particular honing rod does. So I'm not going to lower my edge refinement at this point with that. But here is a older Hiromoto Awagami Santoku knife. You can see the core steel at the edge there, nice patina on it. But there's a few different ways you can utilize these. However you do it, you want to keep your angle consistent and you want to use light pressure. It does not take that many passes. As I mentioned in the product video for this honing rod, you may want to paint the edge with Sharpie, the very edge bevel, and then see if you can try to match that, and then maybe raise it just ever so slightly from that matching angle, and thereby putting on a small micro bevel on top of your edge, so like the edge of the edge, and that way you only need a few strokes and it's really easy to touch it up. So I'm no super expert here, but regardless of your technique, these aren't 12 inches long like some of them, so if you're going to do the horizontal method where I hold the end on a countertop, let me pull in a simulated cutting board here, or countertop. So if you have that on the edge of a countertop, be careful I don't push my knife without edge of my platform here. But one way to do it is just to draw the knife, find your angle, and then just draw the knife across, being very gentle, try to lift at the end, try not to round off your tip, and then bring it on the other angle. If you're going to come way back up here, that's the disadvantage of this method, is you're going to have that flange kind of in the way as far as your angle. So if your angle is a little bit lower than that flange, you're going to have to start a little bit up on the rod, and you will lose some length in terms of what exactly you can do as far as arc on the blade and pushing it across to make your contact. So depending on how high you have to hold the spine off the edge to get that angle, you may not like this method as much. So again, I can draw it like that, bring it back, and it does not take that many strokes to put a really nice toothy edge on this. So that's one method you can use. The secret is, again, light contact. Another way is just to hold it in the air. Change my focus a little bit. So you can kind of hold it in the air, whatever angle you prefer, and you can draw the knife across and then bring it across the other side. Again, trying to hold your angle steady. If you do that, try to keep your wider flanges over your fingers instead of holding it like this. I kind of like to hold like that for a little more protection. But again, you're not whacking this back and forth super fast. You're just kind of being gentle and deliberate with your strokes. And again, paint the edge with some Sharpie. Don't ding the tip like I just did. And then, you know, check it out every few strokes and see what you think. Another option, of course, is to hold it vertically like this on a countertop. One disadvantage of that is you're again going to be hitting this. If your angle is kind of low, you'll be hitting this handle, flange of the handle, and thereby losing a bit on the length of the blade. But that is another option where you can bring it across using that method if you want to. I've kind of found to use the full length of the rod, I kind of like to hold it at an angle up and then come at it from either side. Then I can use the entire length of the rod, and I've just got the tip of the knife down there as I get towards the flange of the handle. So again, there's three kind of techniques you can use. Side on the edge of the countertop and just use the top side, kind of like a sharpening stone stroke. You can hold it at an angle and come at it from both sides, or you can rest it directly on top of countertop and do it vertically like that. And there's probably some other ways people like to do it as well. That's just a few ways that are kind of pretty standard methods for utilizing that. So it's a really nice rod if used correctly, as long as you keep your knives reasonably damage-free. If you've got some damage and chips on them, I'd recommend going ahead and do a sharpening to get the edge clean, and then you can use this for touch-ups. So it's really meant for touch-ups, but it does a really nice job, and it's fairly aggressive, so you can quickly put a good edge on a knife with that. So on to the rest of the kit. Welcome back. We also have the ChefKnivesToGo 8-slot knife roll, so it's a good basic knife roll that you can fit pretty long knives in, as well as like this honing rod fits nicely in there. Again, you can look for the product pages for more information on all these products and get more detailed close-up look. But there is the ChefKnivesToGo Culinary School set.